Hey, Living Stones Church, Pastor Kirk here. I have a little update about West Mountain Camp. Maybe some of you got a little shocked on Sunday, last Sunday, when I tongue-in-cheek kind of joked that we bought a camp. Kind of like that movie, We Bought a Zoo. Sometimes you get into things and you're like, wow, this is a lot. But that's not really the full description of what is going on with West Mountain Camp. I tried to describe that on Sunday, but I want to give a little bit more information so that you can be aware of what's happening and what we as a church are prayerfully committing to on behalf of our whole church. And so let me just give you a little bit of an update. So West Mountain Camp, this idea sprung to existence from a few meetings over a year and a half ago. One of my friends, a pastor of a local church, had this idea when a Christian camp in Cascade Christian Camp, went up for sale. Now, there's a lot of unique kind of things about this camp. It's a leasehold, so you're not really buying the land. It's a leasehold with the National Forest Service or the Idaho Forest Service. But you're basically buying the buildings that exist on it, and you're kind of looking to transition from one Christian organization to another. And so my friend investigated that. Other friends in other churches were investigating that possibility as well that I knew of. And so what took place is he decided to get a consortium of churches together to see if we wanted to partner together for overseeing this property and this camp. And essentially, at the same time, in God's providence, we were thinking through, reflecting on what had been a very wonderful and still is organically a wonderful church camp that one of our churches that merged together, Cole Community Church, that they had run for many years. Then been a lot of fruit, lots of baptisms, lots of joy, lots of fellowship, and they're doing that again this year at Ponderosa State Park in McCall. But because of the reservation systems, because of the way things have changed with Idaho Parks, it's just impossible to get group reservations, which makes it hard as a church to advertise a church camp when you can't guarantee people spots if they do sign up. And so we were talking with that team that had been part of the family camp for many years. And so in God's providence, as that chapter was closing out and that's becoming more organic, we wanted to continue the good tradition and desire to have a camp where people could come together as a church. And so I contacted my friend and we started the discussion to become one of those churches. So it's been over a year of conversation and meetings with pastors, meetings with business people and other things going on behind the scenes. And so what's happening basically is there are 5 churches that are committing to raise over the next 2 years $65,000 each. That money has been fronted by a Christian businessman here locally to pay for the leasehold. So now the camp is purchased and is a 501c3 called West Mountain Camp. And myself and those 5 other pastors are on the board. And then there is a working team that's developing to work on things like program content for our shared middle school and high school camps, to work on work teams, to work on hosts being there on the weekends. And it's a wonderful opportunity. And it's just amazing how it's all come together. But there's a lot that remains to be seen what's going to happen. But that camp is now a 501c3. We are working together to see that happen, and we've committed to prayerfully trusting God to raise that $65,000 over the next 2 years. So if you have camp as something close to your heart and you are interested in that and giving towards that, we will make a fund available shortly so that you could give to that. We're also committing to 150 work hours per year on that camp as a church. So a team could go up, but we could do one work weekend, and that would pretty much be knocked out for our church's commitment there. And what that gets us is economical access. So when we do a church camp, instead of it being whatever the parks typically charge, or what this camp typically charges, which is $20 a night per person. It'll be $10 a night per person to go to camp. And so it's going to be much more economical. It gives us priority access. So we pick the week that we want. Of course, we have to come to agreement with the 4 other churches that are part of the founding members as well, and we get the opportunity to go have men's camps. We get the opportunity to have prayer days. We get the opportunity to do so much more and have access. And there's opportunities to serve as well. Opportunities for you to be a host, to go up on a weekend while a camp is happening and be the host and just enjoy time outside in nature up there at the camp. And so there are so many more details to go through and so many questions that I know you must have or that people have already asked. And I just want to say that those will all be answered. Encourage you to go to the open day on Saturday if you can, May 9th, and just see. It's 12:30 to 4 p.m. and just see the camp a little bit and just see what's happening. Right now, there's 8 RV hookups. There's tent camping spots. There's a lodge with some beds. There's a bunkhouse. There's another bunkhouse that got destroyed by a tree falling on it, and so that's going to be rebuilt. And so there's enough capacity for a small camp right now. And then the plan is to build a loop for more RV spots and more tent spots and to expand it just a little bit. And so Lord willing, for the next 20, 30, 40 years, this will be a spot where our church, along with other churches, can partner to just have that resource and train up the next generation as people who are disciples of Jesus on mission with the gospel. And so if you have any other questions, happy to answer those in time. Just know, and I hope you can trust that both the board of West Mountain Camp, with the pastors and the working teams of businessmen and others, and your elders have kind of considered and reflected on this and prayed it through, counted the cost. We think it's a great opportunity in God's providence. And so be looking out for your opportunities to engage with that. And the one thing I for sure would say is if you have a junior high or high school student, this year there's already camps for them. And I've given those dates out on Sunday. They'll be in the bulletin. And send your kids to camp. Be part of that. The very first Living Stones partnership with West Mountain Camp, youth camp this summer. So God bless you guys. If you have any more questions, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, a little bit more later.